What up? What up? Good to see everybody. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. My friends call me Sleuth. Today we will be discussing the Delphi case of Abby and Libby. Good to see you, Frank. Metal. Christine Robbins. Mezra. Nana, good to see you. Christine. Let me know if you guys can hear me, okay? Red Queen, what's up? Violet. How you doing? Full of hate. Says, hi guys. I was thinking TK might be involved, but now I'm not so sure. The trial is going to be wild. It's already, everything about this case is crazy. Amelia, hello, hello. Good to see you, Jill. D, what's up, D? V Marie, evening. Rebecca, Metal, good to see you. Big Bird, TMB, good to see you. Doris, Squatcher, what's up, Julia? I know you brought up wanting to call in. No pressure on anybody, but we will be opening up the lines here in, I don't know, about 30 minutes. I will post the link. I just want to set the tone first. And then tomorrow, True Crime in the Morning will commence. Going to be talking about the David Schultz case out of Iowa. Reported missing November 21st around 2:30 p.m. of last year. He was hauling pigs from Eagle Grove, Iowa to Sac City. And his truck was found just off the highway, right around the around the area where you would be turning into Sac City. Man, once I scratched the surface of this case, very strange. What's up, Lone Pony? Good evening, Robin B. I'm doing fine. Hope you're doing well. Ziggy, good to see you. What's up, Daily? JL, what up? Hathers, welcome in. Beth, what's up, Beth? All right, Julia's going to be calling in. That's great. That invitation is extended to everybody who is interested in calling in, skipping the line of the chat, so to speak. It's the way I like to look at it. She Warrior, what is up? Sensei, what's going on?
We do not train to be merciful. Mercy is for the weak. Mercy is for the weak. Here, on the street, in competition. In competition.
Welcome in, Redfoot. What's up? Let's go to Hathers. Looks like a 3-month flex. Thank you. Thank you for supporting my channel. Couldn't do without you guys. What the heck? 5-victim mass. A massacre, basically. Did that have something to do with the Olstein guy? I caught a quick glimpse of that. Something about that. Is that the same thing? Okay, so the things I want to talk about today. Let's see. Here's my notes. People don't just vanish and people don't just kill. There is a recipe for these disasters, chain of events, and triggers. So I want to talk about that. And then a question for the chat would be, can the witnesses pick Richard Allen out of a lineup? Or in a courtroom, say, there he is, the man we saw, and he's also the guy in Libby's video. What do you guys think about that? Not only can they, but if they can't, what does that mean for the case? And if they can, what does it mean for the case? And then we're going to just talk about the timeline and the catalyst. I'm going to play my video, the catalyst, and then I'm also going to play my new timeline video. And then we're going to open up the phone line, so to speak. Abby's grandma is in the building with the 23-month flex. Her and Frank are some of my very first members. So I appreciate you guys a little bit extra for being there from the beginning. Thank you. Lakewood Church. Oh, man. That's horrible. Another atheist. All right, let's get started here. Sorry, I'm just pulling something up. Sorry about the silence there. I know that's like, what the hell? What's going on? Just bear with me a moment. I'm trying to slow this video down real quick. Thank you, Zoe. I appreciate that. What the heck? Good to see you, Daisy, by the way. Said she had a, after law enforcement, scene still under search, but they believe she was alone. Wow, that's crazy. That's scary. Wow, Super Bowl Sunday, huh? She's like, I got a Super Bowl for you. Red Queen, people be crazy. Yep. It's like I wonder what psychotropic drug she was on.
Indiana State Police gas that was
out here yesterday. Yeah. I was only out here yesterday.
Indiana State Police gas that reports on the
Guys, remember this guy?
I was on.
Let's go to Redfoot. In my opinion, even if it was Richard Allen, the witnesses are going to catch hell on the stand if his face was halfway covered. Yeah, it seems like Betsy Blair is going to be the most important one, huh? But really, the girls don't really need to ID Richard Allen, so to speak, right? They just need to be able to say, well, the guy that we saw is the guy on the bridge. And we know that Richard Allen said, well, I saw them. And if the timeline is correct, there's just no way around it. But how many of you, there were some secondary questions too, if you guys want to jump on these. You guys ever heard of a guy named James Haas? Now, he's the guy who was apparently locked up with Ron Logan. So if you guys want to look that dude up. And also in the PCA, it says Betsy Blair was returning to her walk. Why the fuck is she returning? What is she doing? Going back and forth? I'm starting to think that the Monon High Bridge Trail was kind of like a drug spot. I think people even used the CPS building to go in there and smoke and do God knows what. And then also go onto the bridge and then cross the bridge and go underneath the bridge, or not even cross it, just go right underneath it once you get to it. So I'm thinking that's where people were going. And I'm not talking like to smoke some ganja. I'm saying some hardcore stuff. You know, you want to be somewhere where you can kind of have freedom. And if you're really out there and you're doing who knows what underneath the bridge, where are you going to go? You're going to kind of just wander around right there where the girls were forced, that area down there, down the hill, right? So if it was a lone wolf situation, I think there was heavy drug use going on.
Only out here yesterday.
Yeah.
Walking. There was a bunch of them out there. They had the flags.
they started a kind of a
This guy. I'm surprised like all the Odinist folks who, you know, are looking for everything and anything. Like this dude seems super interested. What if he's the connection? You know, I'm starting to hear a lot more open-minded talk about well, if it is Odinism, then maybe Richard Allen was into Odinism, right? Now, that's if they can get out of that freaking echo chamber of the memorandum. You know, they use that thing like the Bible. It's like, nope, there was no evidence of that. So they just mimic it. What if everything is right and true? Like little bits and pieces of it. Maybe there's some truth to all of it. What's up, Periwinkle? Hey, good to see you, Chris Owens. I'm going to open up the lines here in probably another 15 minutes. Let's see, what else did I have here? Betsy Blair, the young guy sketch. So why is she returning, right? Did she go and get some dope and come back? That's why they didn't like her young person sketch. So maybe she's not even a credible witness. Maybe there's some conspiracy with her. If we watch the timeline, why is she leaving? Why is she coming back? Sounds like she's trying to explain that to law enforcement, right? Like they just left that part out. They just kind of casually put it in there like, oh, Betsy Blair was returning to the trails to finish her walk. Who the hell goes and starts a walk, leaves, and comes back to finish it? Sounds like something I would do as a younger person picking up some pot. Like, oh man, he's not going to meet us here. Oh, well, he'll meet us around the corner. All right, let's go. Then you leave and then you come back. That's what that looks like. But it could be anything, right? Oh shit, I left the garage door open, or I got a call, or I need to go do this, and then I'll come back. I'm not done, I want to finish my walk. My mind's not right unless I finish my walk. But I don't know, it seems very strange. What do you guys think? What's up, Devoted? Welcome on in. Kristen. Susie, welcome. Did I get you, Red Queen? I think I did. And I got you, V Marie. Sharon, what's up? Always good to see you, Susie. Louise, how are you? That's a good question, Julia. How old is Betsy Blair? I'm not sure. The Saint. Anyone who believe the Odin crap is either a flat earther or they're... Well, that's not nice. The way I look at it is, it all comes from what we see at the crime scene or these ruins, or I saw a video the other day. It was really ridiculous, but I mean, they were just doing their best to kind of point out and identify which ruins were being left at the crime scene. It was crazy. So the way I look at it is, if there is some big report about the crime scene being some kind of showing signs of a ritualistic murder, I know for a fact that the defense is most likely twisting the words of it all, right? Maybe they think it was like Wiccan. I bet you they never even said rune. Or I bet you they never even looked at the evidence and said, this is what we think it is. And the experts most likely said, well, yeah, I believe that, these are Odin fanboys or something along those lines, right? But we just know how they stretched the truth so much. But I bet you it was something like that. What's up, Willow? Masterpiece of poop. And there's the emoji with eyeballs. Such a weird emoji. Let's go to Redfoot. I've been out on my healthy afternoon walk before and then decided it was time for a joint. Then I'd go to the car and get my joint and continue my walk. I'd smoke it on my last lap around the lake. See, that's what I'm talking about. We are free to do what we want, to change our mind. But usually certain things will motivate you, right? Forgot to do something. Some ganja. But I don't know. I feel like the trail is all about something much more heavy. I think people are going there for something much more heavy. All right. Let's start. I think we'll watch the first half of The Catalyst, which is the new video I made. And right in the middle, I think we'll look at the timeline. I might even put these together as one video. We'll see. So please, right away, if you can't hear the audio, let me know. This video is not intended to accuse anyone. This is my own theory put together with case facts, my own investigative findings, and lots of speculation. In 2016, Richard Allen... No sound? Oh, false alarm? Okay, let's start it over. This video is not intended to accuse anyone. This is my own theory put together with case facts, my own investigative findings, and lots of speculation. In 2016, Richard Allen had to deal with some difficult situations. His daughter got engaged and moved in with her fiancé, and his wife Kathy's brother John passed away due to complications from a motorcycle accident. It is uncertain whether any problems arose in Rick and Kathy's relationship now that they are living together as a couple at this point instead of a trio. He now has a father's financial burden of a wedding and a wife who has checked out emotionally over the loss of her brother John. 3.5 months after his daughter moved out, Rick's brother-in-law, Johnny Boy Walker, passed away. John was Kathy Allen's younger brother, and she had a deep admiration for him. Those who knew him revealed that he spent most of his time taking care of his mother or attending church. With John gone, Kathy's mother will need someone to care for her. My sources tell me Kathy and other family members shared this responsibility. This disrupted Richard Allen's routine by pulling him back to Peru, Indiana. Peru, Indiana is not only where Rick and Kathy grew up, it's also the birthplace of the infamous Anthony Shots profile. The creator of the account is a convicted child predator named Keegan Kline. Keegan Kline's arrest affidavit states that the profile was created on July 14, 2016. Keegan was living with his father right up the street from Kathy Allen's childhood home when he began communicating with underage girls with the catfish profile. My local sources tell me Keegan Kline's mother, who just like Richard Allen is from Mexico, Indiana, and was friends with Kathy Allen. I was told Keegan Kline's father, Tony, hung out with Kathy Allen when they were in their 20s. Another source told me they believe it would be impossible for Richard Allen not to know Tony Kline. I was told they hung out on 2nd Street in Peru, Indiana, not far from Kathy's childhood home. According to Kathy Allen's December Facebook post, she seemed to be falling into a depression over the loss of her brother John. With 2016 coming to a close and the murder of Abby and Libby not far off into the future, Richard Allen, for the first time in a long time, has the freedom to make some bad decisions. Kathy posted to Facebook that somebody hacked into her brother's Facebook account after he passed away, calling this person a monster. Local sources tell me that after Johnny passed away, somebody hacked into his account and was contacting women and underage girls. With his daughter out of the house and his wife occupied with helping her mother, this gives room for Rick to rekindle old friendships. I was provided a copy of John Walker's certificate of death. From this, we learned the location where Richard and Kathy Allen would be staying on and off while caring for Kathy's mother in Peru. If you draw a circle or perimeter around where Richard Allen was staying in Peru and another circle around where Keegan Kline was living, the circles overlap exactly where the Wabash River search took place. The circles represent the anchor points of each household or likely range of daily movement. Johnny Boy crossed the very bridge they searched under on his way home from work the night he crashed his motorcycle. He would also cross that same bridge, leaving the Kline home and going to the house where Rick and Kathy were taking care of Kathy's mom. So, were they searching a river near the Kline home or searching a river near the Allen home? Or both? With Richard Allen and Keegan Kline now existing in the same hemisphere, it is possible they linked up or Richard Allen got close enough to access the Anthony Shots profile. Delphi investigators questioned Keegan Kline about the Anthony Shots account in 2019 when he was finally arrested. Keegan Kline told stories of heavy drug use and passing out on the couch, leaving his devices for others to access. Investigators told Kline that someone was trying to meet up with Libby through the account. During that interview, investigators told Keegan that 2 separate devices logged into the Anthony Shots profile at 8 a.m. the morning the girls were killed. The location data tells us that the Anthony Shots profile was logging in and out of 2 devices at the Canal Street address where Keegan and his father lived. If the killer or killers were traveling from Peru, it would explain the talk about the Marathon gas station.
We'll bring the timeline.
When you
in right
travel,
here.
you need gas. And Richard Allen would have most likely offered up as a suggestion the gas station he sees the most, which would be the Marathon gas station just around the corner from his home. This would also explain why Richard Allen was captured on camera traveling west on 300.
All right, let's pull up the timeline. Then we'll start that one right at the end of this timeline here. No audio. The Saint says, if Ron Logan was the killer, believe me, this was over on day 3. It'd be easy to pin it on him now. Never mind years ago. Oh, yeah, definitely now. Maybe Richard Allen was the best option. You know, they ran through all the variables and all the different scenarios. They said, well, I think we'll be safer if we pin it on Richard Allen. Because Ron Logan had a lot going on that day. So I don't know if he was abusing drugs. Okay, so let's pause this right here. It's kind of the reason I made the thumbnail the way I did. Because I mean, why is he having a bad day? Why is he so upset? Right? We talk about people don't just vanish and people don't just kill. Why is he so pissed off? Why is he so motivated? And why do I feel like he passed these girls and said, that's Libby's friends? Like, okay, where are they? Those are her friends. Okay, maybe they're still at the bridge. And he just goes stomping like pissed off. Why is he so mad? Or is he high out of his mind? You know, walking with purpose. And he goes directly to the bridge, gets to the drop-off point, or gets to the CPS building exactly 10 minutes before the girls get dropped off at the Mears lot. So passes the camera right at 126. Right at 130, he's walking towards these girls. And he's probably wondering if this is Abby and Libby coming now. He's like, nope, that's not them. Okay, where are they? Betsy Blair passes them. Abby and Libby are going to try. They're there possibly to catch up to their friends, right? They're like, oh, last time we heard they were near the Freedom Bridge. Maybe we can catch them. Oh, no, they left. They're leaving. Let's go back to the bridge. Oh, who's this creep? Look at this creepy guy. So, you know, they're probably thinking the same thing. This guy's having a bad day. Oh, shit, here he comes. Betsy Blair's leaving. Absolutely nobody out there. People say, well, why didn't they scream? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? They did. There was just nobody there. Even Ron Logan was gone. He left. Nobody was at the Weber residence. They were gone. There was nobody there to hear it. It just happened to be at this moment in time. He got so lucky, I think. He was acting on pure rage, in my opinion, and he got very lucky. He just happened to have the entire trail to himself for a very brief moment in time. It's around this time the arguing couple's showing up. A friend of theirs, coincidentally, wasn't planned, shows up also. Take a break. Claiming photography. And then here comes Derek German. So I want you to notice Richard Allen is doing whatever he wants at this point. It isn't until there begins, starts, all this commotion begins over here and near him. But I'm going to go to the chat real quick. There have never been any other unidentified men spotted at or in the vicinity at the time of the incident. Has there? I've never heard of any other unaccounted for persons being seen. The only person is Julian Powell. But he says he was there at 3:30 to 4, and then he left. Called in sick from work and wanted to go ahead and take some photos at the trail and then head home. He said he didn't realize that school was out because his kids, even though they weren't, they were homesick. So he didn't know. He just thought they were home. They would have been homesick even if there was school. And he says he even passed somebody. So I don't know who that was. He's an older person, but I think that's the same person that Derek German passed. Jesse, Richard Allen somehow knew they would be there. Exactly. That's what it looks like. Like, why is he so pissed off? Why is he walking with purpose? And could he have attacked these three girls? Or is that just not, that's too risky? You know, they're not too far from the Freedom Bridge. Way too risky, right? So he's like, we'll keep going. So maybe he thought about it. All right, let's continue on. All right, so notice once the arguing couple and CMH get across to the south end of the bridge. Watch what happens to the bridge guy. Watch where he goes. See, they meet up. Hey, what are you doing here? Oh, nothing, just hanging out. I'm going to take some photos. Let's cross the bridge. Okay. Richard Allen's over here doing God knows what. Moving and staging. Okay, let's pause it right there. I might have a photo I can pull up. I might have it handy. Oh, well, this one's actually time-stamped. Here, I'll pull this one up. Okay, so you see it here. It's time-stamped 3:49. South end of the bridge. And I'll pull up the actual photos. So her and at least the female part side of the arguing couple are on the south end together at this point. There's photos of both of them together separately, so they're making commotion over here. So you can probably hear them talking right here, echoing, and he's like, "Oh, well, they can't see me." But I have a feeling they may have even come underneath the bridge, possibly, and that freaked him out. Freaked him out. So watch. It's right at this moment he's out of there. I gotta go. But also notice, was that Sarah Carbo? He spotted right here, somewhere in this area, leaving the bridge, heading east on the opposite side, muddy and bloody, or even just muddy. You know, the truth is probably going to be somewhere right in the middle. So notice as he's coming up to the Mears lot, he can see, not only was he just seen by a witness, looked right at him, even gave the older guy sketch. He can see these vehicles up ahead. And one just happens to be the father, who probably about 20 minutes prior to that, he could hear yelling for Libby echoing down there. He doesn't want to go that way. He's going to go this way. It's really not much longer. There's a fence there, so I don't think he hassled with it, because right across the street is the trail. These guys leave. Of course, there's a lot more activity we can add here, and we might. And then he's back to Peru. Right? So if he's in, if Richard Allen is in Peru, that means somebody, he was probably trying to make it as, you know, part of his alibi, because he had another vehicle, a Chrysler. What was it? Chrysler. I don't want to say 300. 500? What did he have? It was like a 2006 Chrysler 200 or something like that. So he most likely was in that vehicle with his wife in Peru. So when he left with his accomplices, he's in their vehicle. Right? Meet me at Marathon. I'll take my car. Nobody even knows he's in town. He's supposed to be in Peru. Perfect alibi. Just like Kagan Klein, right? Remember his alibi? Oh, GP, you know, Google tracks me. I allow Google to track me. How convenient. Okay, so that's pretty much that. And let's go back to the other video. If he was coming from Peru and avoiding the main streets, this is the direction he would be coming from. I believe Richard Allen and his accomplices returned to Peru after committing the double homicide of Abby Ann Libby. Kagan spoke with Barbara McDonald and told her his father was raided by police over the Delphi case while he was in jail. Local sources tell us Keegan's grandfather was also served a search warrant. During the search, they apparently dug up his fire pit. Keegan Klein used his grandfather as his alibi, claiming him and his father were there all day. I believe Richard Allen planned to use a similar alibi, but had to throw that out the window after he was spotted without his face covering by Betsy Blair when he was on the bridge. Nervous Rick needed a cigarette. Richard Allen was most likely with all the people responsible for the murders of Abby and Libby while at Keegan's grandfather's home. This is where I believe they burned most of the evidence. On his way home, Richard Allen would have to cross the very bridge they searched under to get back to his wife and mother-in-law. I believe Richard Allen tossed a phone and a blade into the Wabash River on his way home from Grandpa Klein's. We know the day the river search started, they took Keegan Kline into ISP custody. Investigators took Keegan to Grissom Air Force Base to discuss the Delphi murders. Everything between Keegan and the Delphi investigators would be sealed and marked as confidential moving forward. We also know that 4 weeks into the Wabash River search, Tony Leggett is handed info that would uncover a lost tip narrative. 2 weeks later, Richard Allen is being questioned about the murders. After Richard Allen is interviewed, investigators served a search warrant on his home. They recovered devices, knives, and Richard Allen's gun. Neighbors reported that police also dug up his fire pit. 2 weeks after his home is searched, he is arrested and charged with the murders of Abby and Libby. I believe the motorcycle accident that killed Johnny Boy, God rest his soul, was the catalyst for these murders. I believe I have outlined the recipe for this disaster. I hope you enjoyed this video. Justice for Abby and Libby is coming. Okay, so let me go ahead and share the call-in link. Bear with me. All right.
Introducing
Remember,
the Workday
guys,
Pen
this
2.0,
invitation,
the technical 5-pocket pen.
This invitation goes out to anybody. All righty, we have it pinned. Close this down. And we'll go to the chat. Let's welcome in Julia Burns. Welcome, Julia. You're live.
Hi.
Hi, welcome in.
Hi, hello. Am I echoing at all?
No.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I've been really eager, as I'm sure you know, to call in for a while. So I wanted to first check. I know that you've mentioned JP on your channel before. Is it okay to talk about that, or is that a subject you want to avoid?
Yeah, we can talk about it. Just use his initials.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I'll probably come back to him because that's not really anything big that I had. But so I want to know where to start. So I was just trying to, when you say the timeline, I think it's also important to, try to figure out a link between Kagan or the Kleins and Richard Allen. And really all we have right now is speculation and the fact that they all live in a small town. Because Kagan and Richard Allen are, there is that age gap. And if Tony Klein hadn't been involved in anything, I'm wondering why Kagan would not have given him up by now in the Delphi murders when he really has nothing to lose.
I think he tried to.
Yeah.
I think he tried to throw his pops under the bus. So I've been thinking a lot lately that Tony's has nothing to do with anything, right? It's just somebody similar to that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could see a similar kind of rugged guy, maybe not the best reputation around town, but he's not a good guy, but he's also probably not a murderer. And I mean, I could be completely wrong on
I
that.
can just picture somebody like Richard Allen or somebody who's close with Richard Allen sitting there in the Klein home. I believe Tony worked like a midnight shift or graveyard shift. So he might even be alone with Kagan and some of his pals. What you doing on your phone over there, Kagan? Oh, I'm catfishing these girls.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was thinking, like, how would those two people connect? And the only way, and I can't relate to, the CSAM stuff on a personal level. But what I can kind of think of is what reminds me when I was back in high school, we had this substitute teacher named Coach D. He wasn't even a coach or anything. I don't know. He was a really like skeevy guy. Anyways, he
Okay.
would buy us weed, and
What?
yeah, I know it was
We
nice.
had a teacher like that
Yeah.
that lived close by the school, and I think her stepson or somebody went to school, and sometimes at lunch or after school, she would let us go over there and smoke weed.
Yeah. Same kind of thing. And so weed in Washington was legal, but we were, I don't know, like 17 or whatever. And so we'd all like hop in Coach D's car on like Thursday mornings. And um,
Wow.
yeah, I'm not proud of this, but I'm just trying to make a connection here. So he was, probably at least like 30 years our senior, in his late 40s, like around Richard Allen age or something like that.
Mhm.
And it was kind of like a courtesy back then, like, you let whoever like sells you whatever to, come like hit
Well,
a
now
whatever.
that you mention it,
Yeah.
you're kind of bringing me back to like the high school senior years. There was always like a really older kind of guy like that was kind of like your plan B or C to kind of get the Mary Jane,
Yeah.
and would kind of tag along
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And he would have, sometimes there'd be some other random person with him that would be kind of maybe like in between the two ages. So like we were 17, this in between random person could have been like maybe like late 20s, and then Coach D was like in his mid 40s or something.
Okay.
Somewhere around that. And so I think that could be, because you don't just pull up to a bar next to somebody and be like, hey, what you doing? Hey, like, what's on your phone? Oh, by any chance, are you into CSAM? So there has to be, if Richard Allen is involved in any of that.
Yeah, what if they all just went out one day and just ended up in the same home?
Yeah,
And
exactly. Like
you got
smoking them
he's he
out or
yeah.
getting some harder drugs, even maybe. And then like they just like, oh, like giggling over something is like, hey, what you looking at? Something like that.
Or
And
even like, I heard you were going through hard times, let's go out. I heard you were looking for you can date, like you
yeah,
have an open relationship. Then they strike out, of course, right? Because they're all creeps, and then they come back to the home, and that's when they go into the phones and they start the catfishing and
yeah, and that could have been the word you used was a catalyst for
Mhm.
their hatred towards women or being rejects.
Like an incel type.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I can see
so
that.
yeah, and I just think that it would be very easy for them to utilize like one of the catfishing accounts and try to like get some nudes for I don't know what reason other than to maybe I don't I don't know the business. I don't want to know the business, but if you like sell them, I don't know what they do to them other than like have them for their own pleasures.
Yeah, I think
Um
they trade them like freaking Pokemon.
yeah.
Like,
Oh.
I got this, and you trade me for that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, depending on maybe their like specific fetishes or whatever. Yeah.
Mhm. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that one thing that I remember, so this was before the whole Richard Allen thing. It was more Kagan related, was back in the 2020 interview with Kagan. So this was in the transcripts. I think it was from the murder sheet is when it first got released. And it was when the officer was like, so did you have any intention of meeting up with these girls? And Kagan was like, no, never. And I just think it's really interesting that if he actually meant that, why would he be specifically going for local girls rather than he could like follow someone on Instagram from, New York or like some random city that's not local to him?
Well, lately I've been thinking maybe even a thrill kill. Maybe this was all Richard Allen's idea. We're here in Peru. That'll be our alibi. And we'll go kill these girls that were catfishing. We'll lure them to the bridge. We'll do it there. And this will be our alibi. We'll film it and everything. And then we'll just kind of escape out of there.
For
So,
Richard Allen, that makes sense. But for Kagan, I don't see, he didn't seem like he was, ever trying to meet up with any of these girls. But
no,
he
I
did
think he was
have,
playing a role. Like that was like just his
yeah.
role was the whole here, you can use this, or you can use the Anthony Shots account, or you can use this information even.
Right, exactly. Or maybe he was paid or recruited by somebody to try to like establish a relationship or like a, connection with these younger girls in the area.
Well, it's like right here when they cross paths, which I think they did. He might have been like, well, I know a lot about you girls. You don't know it yet, but I know so much about you. I'm the guy that's been tormenting you. And I just don't think they recognized him. But I think they realized it on the bridge. They're like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's him. That's the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense to me. This is also kind of a somewhat timeline related question. So law enforcement, what camera did they get Richard Allen's vehicle and Kelsey's and Cheyenne's going on? Was that the Hoosier store?
Yeah, right here. Can you see my cursor?
Yes, I can. Okay.
Yeah, right there.
Okay, so that was there. Okay. So does he I don't know how long that camera footage lasts, but I'm sure law enforcement would have had to look up like, days before the day of the murder to see if maybe the same car had been driving through or multiple of the, like similar vehicles had been
Talking like
driving through.
recon or something.
Yeah, and same with the days after or on anniversaries or on the 2018 presser if they noticed a pattern. I would be really interested to know if anything like that came up, but I don't expect them to divulge that if they do have that.
Well, there was somebody that was local that they live right here somewhere, that they did reach out to me and they told me a story that happened. I think it was like a week or two prior to the murders. But a friend of theirs told them that somebody was found in the cemetery, like basically pretty much out of their mind, and they were lifting weights.
Oh, what?
Yeah, like 12 a.m. or something in the morning, 12 to 1.
Oh, that's crazy.
But I mean, maybe it was just one of their friends, like somebody they used to lift weights with, and they got all drunk and sad, and they went over there and, I'm going to lift weights with my friend,
Yeah, or just somebody completely out of their mind. You never know, but that's interesting for sure. An interesting place to, get your workout in, but again, like you said, if it is something sentimental, I could see that. I mean,
Another thing before I forget, there were rumors at the very beginning that somebody reported something stolen. Do you remember hearing about that? And that's how they caught Richard Allen. Like he stole some
something from a garage.
Yeah, like a weed whacker or like a leaf blower or something.
I vaguely remember hearing something like he stole something like a tool or something from a garage. Yeah.
And then they were able to like go look in his shed, and then that's when they found something.
Oh,
but
weird.
That's just a rumor, but I was wondering maybe he was I don't know, was he lurking around back here at this property knowing that they were gone and the girls were right here and they caught him?
So the property that your cursor is on right now, what's that?
That's the Weber property. The crime scene is like right here.
Okay. And then the
This
stolen
is down the hill.
tool was where?
The what?
Like whatever he stole hypothetically was from where?
Apparently from his neighbor where he lives at home.
Okay, so back in Peru?
No,
No, he
at
didn't.
his Delphi home, his actual home.
Oh, okay, so near Abby. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But I'm
like
wondering if he was back here. If he's stealing from his neighbor, who's to say he's not back here trying to steal from the Weber residence?
yeah, are they the ones that were no mirrors were snowboard or no? Was that Weber's?
Yeah, they were the snowbirds. They were
Okay.
gone.
Well, yeah, I mean, I unless they had, I don't know if they had ring cameras back in the day or if they even would now in that area.
There was a deer camera right here, right at the end of the bridge,
Mm-hmm.
but it was destroyed.
Yeah, okay, I remember hearing about that. Any idea when that was destroyed?
I'm not sure. I don't think we could pinpoint it. I think it was shortly before the crime.
Yeah, I doubt that there was going to be a lot of people like checking up on that one deer camera. So there, I mean, it could have been, a year prior also.
And what about this? If Richard Allen's coming to this place quite often, and he probably crosses that bridge, because if you look at that video, it looks like he's very comfortable,
Yeah.
hands in his pockets. He's he has no qualms about it. Maybe he's even proud about it. He the more and more he does it, maybe in his mind he's timing himself like I'll try to do it faster this time. But maybe he's very comfortable right here in this area where he took them. Like maybe that's like his little place.
Yeah, it is kind of there's like a no man's land. It's kind of like in between people's properties in the creek.
Yeah, and you can't see anything from the bridge. You can't see over here.
Yeah. One thing that really got me was like with I can't remember what document it was, but they said that the girls had no defensive wounds. And
That's the Ron Logan affidavit. That
The
was done by Nicole Robertson. The FBI wrote that up.
okay. No, I just thought that wasn't really I don't think like people would have got any information out of that, because my own mother could be like attacking me viciously. There's no way I'm just gonna like comply, like it's if I'm in a lot of pain and I don't want somebody attacking me, obviously your instincts will kick in and you'll try to scratch, you'll kick, you'll do whatever you can. So I don't know if that was them trying to say that the girls were incapacitated in some way, but the way they worded it made it seem like they were trying to say like, I don't know. I don't know if this was a while ago, so I don't know if my opinion is something I took from another, YouTuber that kind of reiterated it, saying that, oh, they no defensive wounds, so they must have known the killer. I could have, like, I don't care who the killer is. It could, be, again, my own mother, and there's no way I wouldn't have any defensive wounds. And so that part really just did not make any sense to me.
Well, I think they might have left out things like just basic bumps and bruises from most likely trying to get away, maybe falling and slipping. But the way they made it sound as if the killer was very efficient. So he just struck them each very quickly, and it was enough to kill them. He wasn't fighting them, holding them down, choking them, and doing all this. It was just he hit them with this very sharp and deadly object, and that's all it took, right in the right place. Like he knew where to hit them.
Yeah, that's also interesting to me. And didn't Richard Allen do some sort of military time?
I don't know if he made it through boot camp. There's a debate right now, and a lot of people that were in the military are saying the way that it reads to them is that he could have made it through boot camp, and then just his time in the military was just extremely short, like a month or two. But I also have people who provided me the document who said, and who are also in the military, said it looks like to them that he didn't even make it through boot camp.
Okay. And so that also kind of leads into my next question. So they said, like you mentioned, like it kind of seemed like it was like a quick kill, and like Libby's throat was slit, and
I
all.
don't know if it was slit. I think like maybe stabbed or hit with something like a hatchet or a large knife.
Yeah, I thought they said something that it was like from ear to ear and almost decapitated, or maybe that was a rumor.
I think that was Libby.
Right? Did I say Abby? I thought I
Oh,
said.
I'm sorry. I was reading and half listening. I apologize.
Oh, no worries. No.
I was just making sure I had up the right document.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then in that memorandum, it states that Abby had a slow death, and they really harp on that. And I don't.
Slower, I think.
Okay. But they mention it several times, and I don't know. I have no idea what that.
Well, they want us to believe in that memorandum that she was strung up by her foot, and that's why there's no blood. But the truth
Really?
is, yeah.
Strung up by her foot? How so?
Well, they found a yellow rope tied to a tree at the crime scene. They're thinking they drained her of her blood.
Is that in the memorandum?
Yeah, they try to make it sound like that she has ligature marks on her ankle, and that they believe that that's what happened.
Okay, so it's like official that they found a yellow rope at the scene.
Yeah, it is official. Whether or not it's related or from the crime scene technicians, that's up for debate. That I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, I must have missed that because that was confusing.
But in the memorandum, they're trying to make it as if it was part of the ritual and
Yeah.
getting access to her blood. They had to hoist her, and
Right. And that would, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. I've personally, I don't know what it takes to do that. I've never tried to hoist anything on a tree, so but that seems like a lot of work for one person. And it seems to be that, so on the bridge, going back to the timeline, they were, so 213 was the last Snapchat, and they were likely going down the hill, like 213 or like 215, and got to the crime scene maybe like 2 I don't know, like 2
probably
30
within minutes. Probably within
minutes.
minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say it was all over and fit within 15 minutes. Not
Yeah,
not the staging and the moving and all of that, but I
but
believe
the killing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, I would too. And I don't think that I've gone back and forth on a lot of my own personal theories, but um how they got there, I don't know, like what went on in between that time, but I don't think that they were like taken somewhere, brought back. But there was a time where I did, and I've gone back and forth on both those things. But
Mhm.
with this part confused me. So if the killer was in such a rush and trying to conceal Abby, or even both of them, um Abby was wearing 2 bras, right?
I don't know about all that stuff. Confuses the hell out of me.
Okay. Yeah, cuz I was going to ask like um
That's
if
the part I can't figure out. And once again, all we have is the memorandum to go
yeah,
off of, and everything we've been able to verify to where we can say, okay, we actually have what they're talking about. This is their exhibit. Their explanation in the memorandum does not match up with what our eyes see.
what do you mean RIC?
So if you were to look at the exhibit that they're explaining, they're basically lying, not expecting, because the majority of folks who are going to read that, maybe even the judge included, isn't going to have access. Well, anybody in the public for sure isn't going to have access to a lot of the things that they're talking about, but I do. So I was able to verify it and even talk to one of the people, Patrick Westfall, who was mentioned, and he was basically saying the opposite. Like they said something, what they say in the memorandum, oh, that he was using some kind of liquid and writing a ruin on a tree. Well, we spoke to him and he said, no, I was trying to wedge a a small item into the tree up high where nobody could reach it. So they were trying to say that what he was doing is very similar to what was done at the crime scene. But at the crime scene, it was in blood and it was only about 4 feet up, which is more consistent with a handprint from Libby. So it's all these inconsistencies.
Yeah. Okay. So like in the memorandum, they can't be.
Can't be trusted, really.
Yeah. Okay. And like that makes sense. But are there any like legal ramifications for anybody who? I mean, you can't say they deliberately lied. Like little details here and there, like they can't say, "Oh,
It's lawyer tricks. It's more like a manipulation of words, a play on words, really.
yeah, that's so annoying." But um, I don't know, because like when I was in high school, I was very small and slender. I was like, Abby size ish at her age, and I little fun embarrassing fact about me, like I would wear two bras sometimes, just like during like when I was
So that's a
14.
thing.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
thing. So like that would not surprise me. Like right when I heard that, I was like, that's
Boom,
not
that's what
really.
it was. So
Yeah,
we're thinking like maybe Richard Allen was, or the killer, we can say, the accused, whoever killed the girls, we in our mind, we read the memorandum, we're thinking he's redressing them and doing all this weird stuff.
yeah,
But you're saying what we need to consider is that Abby could have done that herself.
yeah.
Some of it.
I think so. I think it's very possible. I just wanted to bring up the
I
fact
agree.
that
I
I
agree with that.
definitely like being a 14-year-old girl. Yeah, I know what that's like. That was
Well,
like,
what about the Keegan Klein stuff and the Anthony shots and all, demanding these nude photos and talk about money? You think it's possible that these guys sent them money and were duped and they were so pissed off and high that they came and they tried to get their photos, or they did get their photos? Like, you're going to give me these photos and you're going to give me the photos that I paid for. And it's like maybe he had them do weird stuff.
I think that's definitely possible. Again, I remember being their age and in that scenario where it was guys that we knew in middle school, and we were all just like little innocent, well, like kind of like giggling, at a sleepover and being like, "Oh, this person sent me like a naughty picture and they want one back." And so like we would kind of like tease them because we thought it'd be funny, and like they're like, "Oh, send me a picture of your boobs," and we sent like a picture of two cupcakes or something stupid like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Or maybe even like something just off the internet.
no, again, like that's the other thing we did. They're like, what the hell is that? And so
Kind
we're
of
like,
catfishing
okay.
them right back, kind of
Yeah,
back
no,
at them.
we again like went on, and I'm not even gonna tell you what we searched because it's abysmal, and it's just not relevant. But they pretty much, we sent them a photo of what they asked for that was not any of us, and it was obvious that it was not any of us, and they called our bluff, and they like, I mean, what they sent us was seemingly legitimate, but like all of us, like we didn't care for that. It was like unsolicited. So basically my point is they could definitely feel some anger, but I mean, we never got
Well, for
like
Keegan, it would be like, oh, I know what this is, on to the next. But to some angry,
yeah,
like Richard Allen type person who's kind of out of their mind at the moment, maybe a little bit high, going through some tough times,
right. And
might
nobody.
really get pissed off, especially if you conned him out of some money. Because
Yeah.
Libby had a iPhone. Can't you do like Apple Pay or something like that?
Mm, I don't recall that back then. You can now. I don't know how that works now.
Maybe it was Cash App or something. I don't know how old that is. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the only thing back when I was that age was like PayPal, but something like that, I'm sure. But we didn't pay this classmate of ours to send that to us, and vice versa. So, I mean, the stakes weren't high, but it was, if that were the case, if say these like creep basement dwellers, Kagan and his creep clan, were down there like trying to get pictures and paid them beforehand, and then they just kind of like laughed it off and like made a joke of them and stuff with getting the money.
Well,
I
what about the Vegas trip? Do you think that maybe maybe it's all tied together? They committed the murder. It's part of a thrill kill and collecting of documenting the crime. And then they plan to move it while in Las Vegas. Maybe that's what they were planning. Maybe that was the motivation from the beginning.
I think the timing of the Vegas trip is extremely sketchy, and I think that Kagan was trying to get out of town. But at the same time, I could see Kagan searching up these results because he knew his accounts were linked to the recent girl that was murdered. So
yep.
I don't know, but I think there's a very strong possibility that, like there could be something more nefarious going on. And
for sure. I think so too.
Yeah. And with the Vegas trip, there's just not, I'm very skeptical, but I'm also open-minded. So like,
it's the burner phones for me.
Yeah, but the burner phones, I mean, he could easily explain that away with his, like creepy CSAM fetish,
Mm-hmm.
And so the iPhone 5C, that was the one that he supposedly left on the microwave, and that was not returned back to the police until 2 days later, I think.
Yeah, his actual personal phone, the one, and that's the one where they mentioned the possible grooming from like the 10th to the 15th was gone, and he didn't do that to any other phone except for his own personal phone. So it's almost like whoever took his phone or who had his phone deleted it for him, almost, maybe.
Yeah, I'm wondering what was on his other phones. Like, there was some very disgusting stuff on his phones, like from, like 3-year-olds even.
Yeah, and animal stuff too.
Oh, yeah. And so I wonder if that stuff was on his iPhone 5C or if it was on the other phones. Because if that was on the other phones, then what could be worse than that?
So,
nothing. What's up, Chris? Let's welcome in Chris Owens. But I agree with you, Julia. Nothing worse.
Do you guys think Libby was the target that day or Abby?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Could have been either.
Mm-hmm. Or both.
Yeah.
I mean, either
what
or
do you
both.
think?
Yeah, why is he so pissed off,
Yeah.
What's he so mad about?
Well, I was thinking that if Libby was their target, I'm guessing either she knew secrets about them and she was gonna expose them, or maybe she was just chosen for their ritualistic sacrifice.
Yeah, I think we might be looking at something that could be like that, or even a thrill kill. But I think Libby might have just Abby could have been being catfished, and Libby being a protector. Like, we'll handle this. We'll take care of this together. I got you. Don't worry. We know who this is. It's Keegan Klein. I'm not afraid of him.
But I heard that Abby didn't even have a phone though. But is that true or not?
I'm not sure. I think she might have. I think it's very possible that she had one.
Oh my gosh! If she did, then could Richard Allen have taken it? That it could have been Abby's phone as one of the phones that they found in his residence.
Yeah, it's possible.
If so,
I mean,
how
did they find him? How did they find the lost tip?
If so, then that's more evidence against him.
Yeah, they found something, and his defense doesn't. They've been trying to throw out that search warrant from the beginning.
The PCA. I also read the PCA. The PCA said that Bridge Guy was behind Abby on the bridge in Libby's video, but the thing is, I've seen that photo of Abby, and Richard Allen is not behind her.
What do you mean? There is a video where you can kind of see Abby's elbow kind of sticking out. I think you're thinking of a different photo. You're thinking of the photo where Bridge Guy's not even on the bridge yet, and Libby snaps at 2:05, takes a photo or uploads the photo to Snapchat, and that's just Abby
Wait,
alone on
wait,
the bridge.
wait. Which one was taken? Which one was taken first? The photo or the video?
The photo.
The photo was taken first.
Yeah, at
Okay.
2:05,
So
and
so
the video was
so
taken at
so
2:13.
so maybe Alan wasn't behind Abby just yet at that time.
Correct.
But what? I wonder why the girls were still in that certain specific area at that time.
I think
I guess
Abby
they were
was
taking
struggling.
turns.
No,
I guess they were taking turns walking across the bridge or something.
No, I think Abby was scared. I think she was going really, really slow. She was taking one pillar, and that's why he was able to catch up to him, and he probably grabbed her because she's scared. She's scared out of her mind. She didn't even make it all the way across the bridge when he got to her.
I mean, and the other thing is that I have seen that clip of Richard Allen, but it's so short and blurry that I don't even notice Abby's arm. So how do you guys notice Abby's arm?
Here, let me find the image real quick. Welcome back, Julia.
Hi, sorry, real connection issue.
All right, so this will be our 10-minute warning. But I definitely want to pull up this photo here. Hopefully I have it.
If Abby's phone was found at Richard Allen's residence, then that would be another piece of evidence against him besides that unspent bullet.
Well, there's a lot of talk of a motorcycle cover, possible DNA from the victim being found in his car.
Not sure if any of that's true, though. But
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mention it if I didn't think it was about 90% possible.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know more about JP because so I don't know if I remember you interviewing him and his claims that he was there. Do you know if there's any claims that anybody else saw him there?
No, but it is a fact that he was interviewed by law enforcement about him being there.
Have you found that photo you were talking about yet?
No, I'm looking for it right now.
Okay.
I'll find it.
I hope you can find it before the stream ends, at least, or even if you find it, I hope you can post it.
Yeah, I'll find it right now. It should be online. It's the oldest, one of the oldest images.
Like I said, I've seen that clip of Richard Allen, but I never noticed Abby's arm in that clip.
Yeah, here it is. I found it.
Okay.
All right, so let me drag this over real quick. And let's zoom in. See the elbow there? Well, it's most likely her hand inside the pocket.
See what I mean? It's pretty darn blurry. How can you guys even tell?
What, this right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. For sure.
It's an elbow. All right.
Or a
then.
hand. I don't know if it's an elbow or a hand. I think it's a hand inside a pocket, but I mean, it's definitely her.
He's pretty darn close to her. Why isn't he grabbing her right now?
Oh, he's coming. He will.
I think that's a really zoomed in photo.
Yeah, super zoomed in.
And so like he just got like the like very end cuff of the elbow or the sweatshirt. If you can see like how pixelated it is, I could see if it's just like something off, one of the girls. I think.
Well, it's my understanding that the
Sure.
original, it has Abby. She's in it, like her whole. She's just in the video.
Yeah,
They
the
just
one
edit her
family
out.
saw. Yeah.
He's pretty damn close to Abby in
Mhm.
that photo though. So why does he wait and tell them to go down the hill first?
He's not waiting. He's coming right. He's coming right at them. And Libby's probably telling Abby, like, you need to hurry. This guy is right behind you. He is so close to you. And she's going, I'm so scared. This is my first or second time on the bridge. And that might even have been a trigger for him, seeing her struggle and just taking her time and taking forever. And Libby's probably, loading up these photos to Snapchat saying, look how brave she is. Look, she's going to cross the bridge today. And I'm going with her because why is she crossing the bridge? Maybe to meet a guy.
So I wonder how Richard Allen would even know the clients in the first place. Anyway, I painstakingly did some digging and didn't find any connection between them.
Yeah, me neither. I'm still trying.
Yeah,
Could
he
they
doesn't
apply-
have a lot of social media from what I
Who's
do
that,
have
Klein?
one question. Yeah, the Kleins no, sorry, not the Kleins. Richard Allen.
Oh, okay.
But I did have a question for both you guys or the chat or whoever.
Sure.
Before Richard Allen was arrested, do you think that they did a photo lineup of possible suspects that the witnesses that day saw on the trail?
After the arrest of Richard Allen?
Before it was.
I don't know. I know that they did do a lineup. I might have it. And then they showed Jimmy Duvall.
Jimmy who?
And Jimmy Duvall. He's
yes, I remember seeing that.
I heard that there's also actually more audio besides guys down the hill, like Abby saying the creepy guy is still behind me or something. Have you guys heard about that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that true?
So this one over here is Jimmy Duvall. That is true. Becky confirmed that did happen, and there was a talk of, is that creepy guy still behind me?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Libby responds by saying, mm-hmm.
Where can I find that though? There's so many videos and stuff about the murders. And where can I find where Becky confirms it?
If you Google Delphi murders Becky Patty Facebook, she does it on Facebook. It'll be one of the first images that come up.
She does it on Facebook. Okay, and is there a transcript of that too? Then where Lily says, "Mm-hmm."
No, she just kind of quotes it. She's kind of telling somebody who's asking questions, and she's telling her that's what she heard on the video.
So Libby didn't say mm-hmm. Becky said mm-hmm.
No, Libby did.
Oh, Libby did.
Abby in the video says, "Is that creepy guy still following me?" And Libby goes, "Mm-hmm." And
Okay,
then before you know it, he's right there.
Is that also what it says? Is in Becky Patty's post though?
Yes.
The mm-hmm part.
Yeah. Yes, that part is in the post.
Sorry. It's just I've seen lots of stuff about Becky Patty and the girls, but it's pretty hard to find and that transcript. Sorry.
It's more of a screenshot. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, what do you guys think about when Richard Allen confessed on the phone from his prison cell or whatever to his mom and his wife? Personally, I know false confessions are a big thing, and it's definitely, it happens a lot with interrogations, and you see somebody where they're being, no sleep, no nothing, being just berated by
Oh,
these detectives. And so do you think that, but in the, in the comfort of his own cell, I am trying to think of a motive, but also he could be going crazy. And I have not heard a lot of cases similar to where somebody is just locked up and randomly wants to confess. But I don't know. So I'd love to hear your guys' input on that.
Okay, but see, another thing is I have found Becky Patty's Facebook and I looked at her photos, but I have yet to see that screenshot.
No, this was in a group. This was like a Facebook group. So you're gonna have to go to Google and look it up. It's not hard to find. Just I think just type in creepy guy. Delphi, Becky Patty, creepy guy, and it'll pop right up. But this is going to be this will be
all
our.
right. Well, I'll try it different ways, but I'm just saying it's hard to find. But
real quick, Chris, anything else you want to add before we get out of here? I want to make sure Julia gets the final word.
And yeah. So do you think any of the? Do you guys think any of the suspects or persons of interest could be more involved than we believe, actually, or do you think that none of them are involved at all?
Well, I think it's possible. I keep an open mind. What I think is that I don't see anything tying the whole Odinism thing to it, but that's just my opinion, and I'm not an expert. Maybe there are some experts that could look at it and say, "Well, you don't know what you're talking about."
Like,
that's what's going on.
Like for example, could James Brian Chadwell and Garrett Kurtz, for example, be more involved than we know about, possibly?
I don't know about Chadwell, but Kurtz, man, that dude, he's basically a serial killer, and he knows the area well, for sure, with him.
Yeah, he's a sketchy local. I wouldn't put it past him, but I don't currently, in my opinion, see anything leading him to the crime. But again, I would not be surprised, and I'm also no expert.
Or how about Charles Andrew Eldridge?
Well, there was an interesting that happened the day that they announced the 2018 New Direction presser was the day that Eldridge was taken into custody during a sting operation. He was trying to pick up a 13-year-old girl, but was actually talking to an FBI or a police agent. They busted him, and then later that evening, they announced that they have a New Direction presser that following Monday. So I always thought it was very strange that the same day that he's arrested for a very similar crime is the very day that they announced this new presser. And they already had a 2019 presser just 2 months prior to that.
I thought that was weird too. I thought that they were kind of honing in on him. And then once they, had access to him and did this sting or had, other people do this sting, they were able to find out more information that maybe exonerated him from the Delphi, or got him off on being as suspicious as they originally thought. But I have no idea. But I did think that was weird too.
Yeah, he could have even said, well, I don't know who this killer is, but I did communicate with the guy who was using that Anthony Shots thing that you brought up, because the public didn't know about it, but they could have mentioned it to him in private. Like, do you know this account? Yeah, I have. I've interacted with this account. Do you know who it is? No. It's just during my whole CSAM exchanging pictures with people, one of those interactions.
Right. And people like that, they're not just tied into one account. I feel like there could be several accounts that he's affiliated with or has access to. And maybe they took his phone and just kind of did a big dump and then found the Anthony Shots and maybe found some similarities in just the same way.
Yep, I agree. All right, Chris, anything else?
Do you guys think Richard Allen might finally plead guilty anytime soon? She would save all of us a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I do. I think
within
the next 3 months we'll see a plea.
but I do wonder why neither Keegan Klein or Richard Allen have tried ratting on the other to try to save his cell.
I think that's yet to be seen.
Oh yeah, true. And Richard Allen was charged with felony murder, so I think he'd be just as guilty no matter what anyway.
Depending on his involvement and the deal, if there is one.
Felony murder, so they know he's involved. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks for having me
I
on.
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, Chris. They
Bye.
so that would basically mean that Kagan's not involved. I don't think he would be the other guy. That's if it's not Richard Allen who's responsible for the physical act, I don't think that other person would be Keegan Klein.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks,
I
Chris.
always love your calls, and hopefully we hear from you again very soon.
Thanks. I'd be happy to.
Thank you, Chris. Take care. Bye now. Okay. All right. Final word, Julia.
Okay, I'm gonna try to really sum this up.
No
I think
rush.
I might have I gotten a little distracted when I first said this, and I probably went off on some tangent. But with the photo lineup, before Richard Allen was arrested, and the witnesses were there, so when they knew it was Richard Allen for whatever reason, do you think they would have at that time pulled in the previous witnesses to look at a photo lineup or any sort of thing like that? Do you think that would have happened?
And you're talking about the October 2022
Yes.
arrest?
Yes.
I think so. Yes, I think it is possible. We've asked that question before.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I mean, I'm just amongst, I've asked, not on a live stream or anything, but that question's been tossed around. That's a great question. I say the answer, in my opinion, is yes.
I feel like it had to have been. And do you think that the answers of the witnesses would have made a difference one way or another of his arrest?
Yes, I think that's a huge part of the PCA was the witnesses, him seeing them and them seeing him, and then them saying, well, that's the bridge guy. I think that's the whole fabric.
But what if they said it wasn't, or they're not sure?
Yeah, that would have, if they would have ever said, well, we're not sure if that's the guy that's on the bridge, the guy that passed us, then yeah, it would have been useless.
Yeah, so whatever evidence that they found to link him to his arrest, like totally. I'm wondering if they had like pretty solid evidence, and then they brought in the witnesses, and then maybe one or two of them said no, that's not the guy, and one of them said yes. Are you familiar with how that works?
No.
Not. Okay. Yeah. Well, I have more, but I will save it for later. And yeah, thank you for the call in. This was a great live.
Tuesday we'll do another call in.
Okay, I will be there.
So.
Great. Sounds good. Okay, I will let you go. I know I've been taking up like a lot of.
Oh. Sorry. It looks like she clicked out a little bit early. Thanks again for the calls, you guys. Another great live stream. Good discussion. Sorry I didn't spend a whole lot of time in the chat, but this is going to be my time. Let me put something back up on the screen here. Just as a reminder. So tomorrow morning, we're going to cover the case of David Schultz. He's a missing person right now. They do suspect foul play. He went missing November 21st of 2023. And I got a lot of information on this case. Very strange. We'll go to a few more comments and then we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Redfoot, he went in and was out in just under 6 weeks. Boot camp. Last 8 to 10. So he got kicked out for something. Do you think he got kicked out or he like got himself kicked out? I heard that was a thing too. Oh, we had Julia Burns and Chris Owens call in. Shout out to them. Shout out to Hathers with the flex, Abby's grandma, and Zoe Kitty 777 for sponsoring today's live stream. Thank you so much. Let's go to Deanna. It says 2 bras is confusing, but if they put the other girl's bra on top of the other bra, I heard it was reverse. According to the memorandum, it was black traditional and then a sports over the top. But who knows? That's according to the memorandum. Everything else they've said that we can verify has been wrong. So shout out to Texas. Good. Welcome in, Debbie, Jesse. Yeah, I don't think she was either devoted. She may have even been used as a tool, held in one hand, gun up against her, saying, Libby, you need to do this, this, and that, or I'm going to hurt your friend. Something along those lines. No, I don't believe so, Red Queen. I think that was Libby. So maybe Libby was the target. It's also very confusing. All right, let's go to one more here. Good. Welcome in, Jesse. Bitcoin ATMs. Did KK have an iPhone or he had an iPhone? So it would have been iPhone to iPhone, like with Apple Pay. Hey, what's up, Leslie? Sleuth, wouldn't they need a bank account or a cell in their own name? I don't know. What if like a prepaid card or something? So I'm saying, trying to figure out what it was. We have the Anthony Shots money going to you. Some people will even argue they weren't talking about actual money, but the photos. But I don't agree with that. I don't subscribe to that. I think it was actual money. That was Chris Owens. Shout out to Chris Owens for calling in. Great questions. Great panel. Sees through. Welcome in. I have a theory on how BG caught up to them. I believe they only intended to walk to platform 3 when he headed back, walking back towards closing the gap. BG walks on the bridge, forcing them back. I think he just walks that bridge quite often, and he can run across that thing if he wanted to. Probably thinks it's the coolest thing that he can zip through there. And maybe watching Abby struggle on that bridge is what triggered him. Like, how is she going to run from me? She can barely take a step. So she's probably taking one step, pause. One step, pause. Oh my gosh, here's a giant gap. Now what? Here, I'll help you across. All right, take your time. Cross. Pause. Take a step. You know, like something very slow. And then here comes the predator who can run up and down that damn thing right behind her. He's just going to close that gap, close that distance very quickly, in my opinion. Good to see you, Stephanie. All right, guys, that is all of my time. I want to give a shout out to everybody who was able to make the live stream. Replay crew, you know what to do. Let me know what you think about today's topics, the callers, the case, whatever. Let me know in the comments what you think. Welcome in K8. Fair Maiden wins. Cynthia De La Fuente. Got you, Sparky, and everybody else. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow morning for another episode of True Crime in the Morning. Peace.